Hello guys, welcome to Top Anime Sensei. This video is the continuation video after the largest faction, so if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description, and please check out my second channel Anime Sum Up for amazing recaps of different anime. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates. Relying on the law to punish without mercy. That was surprisingly difficult. I was also troubled by the question of how to guarantee a fair and just trial. In any case, in order to implement the separation of powers once and for all, I was learning alongside Rigard. The people's voices must be heard, and legislation must be discussed and enacted together. It was essential to establish a transparent political system. In terms of administration, Rigard and other talented people were currently being selected as officials and were training to become bureaucrats. In order to strengthen the authority of the central government, it was necessary to create a law enforcement agency as soon as possible. The military under Benimaru's direct control, and the intelligence agency, Dark Shadow, led by Soy, would answer only to my commands. In order to prevent chaos in the chain of command, it was decided that they would not listen to any orders from the executive branch. Therefore, I was planning to appoint someone quite powerful as the head of the public prosecutor's office. There was another thing. The judiciary also had problems. Conducting trials could easily stoke violence and resentment on all sides. This demanded not only smarts, but a certain amount of adroitness to get the job done. Of course, judges needed protection, but that thought alone was disturbing. Purposefully attacking a judge for the sake of revenge was absolutely intolerable, and was grounds for an immediate death sentence. However, we couldn't rule out the possibility of someone being aware of the consequences and still committing a crime like that. Unlike humans, monsters were tough, no matter how discreet the security was. Officials were susceptible to ambushes. That was why we wanted our judge to have some personal physical strength. In that case, relying on Rigard alone is rather concerning, I admitted. Rigard agreed with my view. Right. Even though he is my close lieutenant, he's not as strong as a centurion. If we switched to Rogard, however, he wouldn't lose to any average youngsters. I pondered for a bit. I would like to set up a prosecutor's office within the executive branch. If it's a domestic crime, Datta and the security force will be able to stop it, but when it comes to cracking down on executives and lawmakers, it's too much of a burden for those guys, isn't it? Indeed, you're right. All sorts of monsters, even named Majins, may come to our nation. In addition, people confident of their own strength from various countries will also gather here due to the influence of the opening ceremony. It's not surprising that there's going to be a lot of commotion. While most of the effects of the founding festival were positive, due to a certain event that occurred, it's also begun to attract strong characters. In a way, it was what we wanted, but some fools simply couldn't be satisfied by the labyrinth. They had to go to town and make a mess. With Datta's return, the security force had been strengthened significantly, but Rigard didn't think that was enough. There are still A-ranked Majins, aren't there? I asked. Yes, although the numbers are small, they haven't shown any outward signs for wanting to rampage, but I thought it would be prudent to stay vigilant. Just like Rigard said, preparedness was very important. There was a huge difference in the fighting abilities between each individual, so it was smarter to be proactive rather than reactive when dealing with Majins. The public prosecutor's office and the judicial branch. There's also the matter of sending someone to be our diplomat in the Western Council. At the moment, we all have our own jobs to do, so it doesn't seem like a good idea to make any personnel changes. It would be more confusing. That was going to be a headache. The system was being established. The laws were beginning to be enacted, but the necessary resources for actually executing them was still in its infancy. There were many vacant positions that needed to be filled. That was the downside of rapid growth, and it was something we could not avoid. I could only sigh at our lack of manpower. It was no use ruminating over not having enough personnel. I decided to lighten my mood by inspecting the construction sites. Geld was building a new capital on the ruins of Beast Kingdom Eurasania. The construction was going smoothly and the foundation work had been laid out. We laid the foundation all the way down to bedrock, and magical high-strength concrete foundations connected by steel and rebar proved to be an excellent base. By using stones with mana as the building material, not only were they sturdy, they would give off an unique magic wavelength that repelled low-level spells. The downside was that we could not use magic to reduce its weight during transportation, but the positives outshined that. So I suppose it was good enough. By the time this giant castle was completed, not only would it be capable of defending against an outside attack, it would also block magic being used inside as well. We were even able to create magic rocks that were several hundred times harder than concrete. After polishing it, a towering pillar rose from the center, supported by the foundation, and seemed to almost reach the sky. Using the pillar as support, the outer walls were being erected next. I should mention that the scale of this project was simply enormous. The pillar alone was a spectacle. Below, people were bustling around like busy ants. It was certainly a strange sight to behold, but it was also evidence of just how massive the building was. "Ah, it's Rimuru-sama. We welcome your presence," Geld greeted as he happily ran up to me. Not wanting to bother everyone working, I came here using teleport from my spatial domination. But it appeared that I was discovered by Geld in the end. "Hey Geld. Long time no see. It's great seeing you guys progressing so smoothly." "Ha ha ha, thanks a lot. Surely everyone will be delighted to hear Rimuru-sama's praise." Geld gave off a bright laughter, which brightened me up as well. He wouldn't be reacting this way had the operation not gone smoothly. The cheerful atmosphere at the site was what made the work enjoyable. No, I really mean it. You guys seem to be doing a lot better than I anticipated. Will you guys be finishing soon? Indeed. It is thanks to everyone getting along so well. According to Geld, he thought a lot by himself after his talk with me. He then went on to have open conversations with the captives Majins, lending his ears to their complaints. There was no way that he could move the hearts of those who were completely unmotivated to work. With that being said, Geld did not rely on strength to rule, but by understanding others' viewpoints. They were all afraid for their future circumstances. They were scared that they would be executed due to their past conflict with Rimuru-sama, explained Geld. Huh? Why would I do something like that? Of course you wouldn't. We all know that Rimuru-sama is not a ruthless demon lord. But these people are new around here. They do not know Rimuru-sama's character, and consequently, they couldn't completely shake off the feeling of fear. That's why I decided to share my own experience with them. Geld retold the story of the duel between the Orc Lord and me, the outcome, and the fate of the orcs. The Majins were only half convinced, despite the large group of high orcs right in front of them. Those that were involved backed up Geld's testimony, and as a result, few people doubted his story. Some of them were calling Rimuru-sama naive, but I replied with, "So what?" I asked them, "Are you really going to try and rebel when even I can't win against him?" That shut everyone up. Geld recalled. If it was Xian or Diablo, they probably would have lost their nerve and killed the misspoken Majin. Once again, I was reminded of how kind-hearted Geld truly was. And just like that, Geld managed to unravel the minds of the captives. He would also invite them out for drinks every week and treat them to delicious meals. Nowadays, they had been completely won over by Geld's masculinity and were willingly assisting us. More importantly, they felt that they could be of help to other people. Having their efforts recognized must have filled them with pride. Not only were they laboring hard to be freed of their captive status, they were also experiencing the fun of working. This was far more efficient than forcing them to work. In some sense, our effective approach was to be expected. And so these higher Majin support became a great help to us. We resolved the lack of manpower issue while at the same time, work became more efficient. Naturally, with this improved efficiency, construction was progressing far better than I hoped. In fact, in contrast to the progress of construction sites in my previous world, it was quite shockingly fast. Honestly, the two could not even be compared in the first place. And keep in mind that construction was proceeding entirely by hand, since heavy machinery didn't exist. People might be dubious at this comparison, but when they see the construction in person, surely these doubts would be blown away. After all, these Majins could not be seen as natural or human. Some were able to lift up several tons worth of material by themselves. Some could obliterate junk and rocks in the way with their bare hands. Of course, some of them could fly, so their safety standard for working several stories in the air was different than humans. No wonder they're so fast. I nodded with a serious look on my face. There were construction projects at several other locations as well. If this was wartime, it was a bad idea fighting on several battlefields at the same time, but with construction, it was a different story. Construction could be carried out with different phases of planning to maximize efficiency. Furthermore, this was a fantastic training opportunity for our field engineers, which was why we arranged field officers to lead each team and let them give orders at their discretion. To be more specific, there were 4 locations with construction occurring. The outskirts of Dwargon, Ingracia, Eurazania and Sarian. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched the previous parts, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.